Hey there, welcome to your weekly astrology forecast for the week of June 19th. This week is all about the feels. My name is Shauna McGrath, I'm your forecasting astrologer, and I'm excited to share with you the astrology of this week. So in this video, I'll share with you 3 tips to harness the energy for this week. So the biggest event that we have happening this week is the solstice that's happening on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, depending on your time period, on your time zone. So this is the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere and the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. So the solstice in this period is marked by the sun moving into the sign of Cancer. And so it's Cancer season for everyone, which is why this week is all about the feels, because Cancer is all about feeling and emotional intelligence. And so when we have the solstice, this is the exact point, it's actually exact Tuesday evening Pacific time. So it's that exact point when the sun moves into Cancer that we have the longest day in the northern hemisphere and then the shortest day in the southern hemisphere. And it marks a shift point. So going forward from this day, from Tuesday, Wednesday, is when the days will start to get shorter in the northern hemisphere, in America, etc. And then in the southern hemisphere, the days are actually going to start to get longer, Australia, etc. So it's a shift point, and it's the beginning of a new season, really, because it's initiating this season that is Cancerian in nature. So Cancer is all about feeling and emotion and nurturing. Cancer is a sign that's about empathy. It's about your roots and having a sense of patriotism as well, and this sense of familiarity with your surroundings or the people and things that bring you comfort. So you'll have a chance, not just this month, but over the next few months, to really explore these themes. And then with the equinox, when the sun moves into Libra, then we'll get to explore more relational kind of themes. But this really marks a time where it's good for you to get familiar with what it is that brings you comfort, what it is that brings you nurturing, and how you can give those things to yourself, and maybe even how you can give those to others. So the second event that's happening this week is we have a new moon in Cancer. So actually, like, even more Cancerian energy, all the feels. So this new moon happens on Friday or Saturday, depending on your time zone. It's exact Friday, June 23rd at about 7:31 p.m. Pacific time. And it happens at 2 degrees of Cancer. So this is when the sun and the moon both come together in the sign of Cancer. It's at 2 degrees of Cancer. And what's really interesting with this new moon ushers in a new cycle. It initiates a new month-long cycle where we all get to play around with Cancerian energy, both the light side and the shadow side, the conscious and the unconscious. And the conscious side of Cancerian energy is having this rich emotional nature, like rich emotional intelligence. The shadow side of Cancer is being overly sensitive and viewing things in a subjective way, so getting taken over by the emotions. So I would just watch for how that comes up for you around this new moon, and then throughout the next 30 days as well, because there will be opportunities to explore this a lot, especially because with this new moon, it is conjunct Mars in Cancer and Mercury in Cancer as well. So Mars is your active energy. It's initiating. It's also related to your physical activity. So your energy levels physically in your body, your motivation. And Mercury is your thought process, how it is that you think. So with Mars and Mercury in Cancer, there may be a tendency now and again over the next month to tend to be more influenced by your emotions. And whether that is positive or negative really depends on how aware you are of what it is that you're feeling. And this is so important because when you are conscious of your emotions, then you can decide what actions to take. But if you are unconscious of your emotions, this is the shadow side, especially of Mars in Cancer. If you are stuffing things down because it's not convenient to feel a certain way at a certain time, and we all have this, it's not always convenient to, or you're not always able to say exactly what it is that you need to say at any given moment. But if you don't have an outlet for the emotions that you're feeling, especially if they're strong and intense, if you stuff those down, they will come out in unconscious or even passive aggressive ways. Mars in Cancer is extremely passive aggressive in the shadow side. So I would just watch for that. Again, this is the new moon, so it's beginning a new cycle, and it's really an opportunity for you to explore all of these things inside of yourself. The third aspect that we have happening this week is Mars in Cancer, again, squaring Jupiter in Libra. And I'm excited about this aspect, and I'm curious to see how it'll feel for everyone, especially closer to the weekend. That's when it becomes more exact. So Mars is your physical energy. It's hot. It's what gets you excited and passionate about something. It can also represent where you feel a sense of anger about something. And Jupiter is an expansive energy, so it expands whatever it makes aspects with. Jupiter is also, especially Jupiter in Libra, is related to social justice, and there's this theme with this aspect of fighting fair and engaging with conflict, Mars in Cancer, in a way that honors justice, that honors integrity, which is Jupiter in Libra. So I would just notice if repressed anger comes up, or if there's a conflict. It might not even be a negative conflict, but you may need to step up and say what's so. You may need to initiate yourself and to have more courage. So I would just notice how things unfold for you this week, and if any of that kind of thing comes up. That leads me to the 3 tips for this week. So the first tip, number 1, is to face conflict directly. So this is so important this week because conflict may come up, and this doesn't mean that it needs to, there's a fight or a really bad conflict that needs to happen. It may just mean that maybe there was a miscommunication or something, and you need to put yourself out there. You need to have, or not you need to, but it's beneficial to have emotional vulnerability, to share what you need to share while honoring the other person at the same time when there is a conflict. So I'll just leave that there. You know what situations are maybe simmering underneath the surface where things may come up. So again, the whole idea with this is, with astrology, it really just shows you how to deal with what is happening now. So if you don't have a conflict and there's no conflict in your life, don't worry about it. Maybe you just there's an opportunity to explore things more. But it's all it's elaborating on what's happening now. So that's that. The second tip is to feel your feelings. And yes, of course, Cancer season, to feel the feelings, because Cancer is about emotion. And so the more that you can be aware of what it is that you're feeling, and this doesn't mean that, I want to really drive home this point that emotions are not bad. They're just emotions. And if you're feeling something that's uncomfortable, like jealousy or guilt or shame, or you're feeling bad about something, that doesn't mean anything about you. It doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't make you a bad person. It just is a feeling. And sometimes feelings need to be acted on, and sometimes not. Sometimes they just need to be felt. But if they are not felt, then they get stuck. And you can tell if you have stuck emotions, if there is tension in your physical body, especially this week with Mars and Cancer. So I would just notice if you're having physical issues, it may be something to look at. A great book for this is Louise Hayes has written about it, but I really love Deb Shapiro's book, your body speaks to your mind. It's really cool because you can look up like different body parts or different ailments and what they mean from a psychological level. So that's tip number 2, feel your feelings. Tip number 3 is to nurture yourself. So this week especially, to set yourself up for success with this Cancerian cycle for the whole next month. What comfort foods are good for you? What environments are good for you? What are your guilty but healthy pleasures that just bring this sense of comfort? Maybe there's 3 things that you can write down that you can go to this week. That's really important with Cancerian energy, because if you don't have that sense of nurturing, you're going to seek that out, but you may be looking to other people to give that to you instead of going the direct route, giving that to yourself, which it's just so much easier really to do it that way. So those are your tips for the week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please share it with a friend. I love to get these messages out to as many people as possible. And if you want to totally geek out and get more into the astrology of this week, if you want to go deeper into these themes, you can listen to the podcast that I'm co-hosting with my dear friend Mel. It's called the Feminine Principle Podcast, Astrology for Authentic Living, and I'll have a link below so that you can download and listen to that. We do that every week, and it's really fun. So wishing you an amazing week, and I will talk to you soon. Namaste.